Hey guys, if you recall, I still have one nagging issue with this set. The left-hand side of the screen is a bit brighter than the right, and there's kind of a wavy line down the middle. Well, I posted about it online, and of course I did the video, and I got some comments about some possible causes of the problem. One could simply be because of the lead dressing here. Normally the picture tube, when it's in the cabinet, the neck is over here. Well, with my little test CRT, I have these leads folded down here, and they might be picking up some noise from the flyback. So easy enough to test that out. I can kind of just move this around and see if that affects the screen. Another possibility might be that I didn't replace that guy. Black box down there. What is that? That is a dual selenium rectifier used for the horizontal circuit that helps it lock onto the incoming signal. Now the horizontal hold works okay in this set, but perhaps it's not as good as it could be, and it might be a source of some noise too, so I'm going to replace it with one of these guys. These are dual Schottky diodes. Common cathode is the middle lead on these. I just want to make sure that that's the same as the 3 leads on that, and that the common cathode is at one end or the other before I replace it. In hindsight, of course, I wish I had done it before I reinstalled the circuit board. I'm not really sure why I didn't. So I'm going to try to maybe clip it off from the top and tack the new component on. Now the final theory, and one that I think is the most likely, is that this test CRT does not have any conductive coating to ground. Why does that matter? Well, that forms a capacitor that filters the high voltage. This set does not have a high voltage capacitor on the output. It's got the high voltage rectifier, 2.2K resistor, and then it relies on the coating on the picture tube to filter it. So that high voltage is derived from pulses that go through the flyback and also the yoke. So each time that beam snaps back and forth, it's putting energy through the flyback, and there's a high secondary to primary turn ratio that makes the high voltage. So I must have a very noisy high voltage, I would imagine, without that filtering effect. Now, to test out that theory, I could wrap some aluminum foil around this and try grounding it, but it's so small I don't think that would work too well. I could try taking a high voltage capacitor and soldering it on and grounding it somehow, but I think the easiest thing to do is simply put the chassis back in the cabinet. Then we can finally hear what that big speaker sounds like too. 1-800-401-4010. Well, it turned out to be pretty easy to replace that dual selenium rectifier, so I went ahead and did it, and I also tried moving the CRT around a bit, and neither one had any effect whatsoever. And it doesn't seem like the horizontal hold was really any better than it had been, so I think that old component was just fine. So, next thing up is to try putting this back in the cabinet and use the real CRT with the grounded coating. I've reinstalled the chassis into the cabinet. Got the picture tube hooked up. Now I will have to take this out, whether it works or not, because I still have not secured those electrolytic capacitors very well, but it should be good enough for a trial run. And I got the speakers hooked up, and I replaced the non-polarized cap in the crossover network with a plastic film cap. It's about 4.7 microfarads. And I got a signal source hooked up. So let's give this a try. Right on the safety plastic, hopefully that'll come off. Alright. Gonna have to adjust the yoke a bit. I didn't really tighten it down. It's a little bit crooked and the picture's not centered in at the gap up at the top. But at least on this view, you know, the static, don't have any issue with the left side of the screen or that squiggle line being there. Yeah, it is back a bit. I'm not sure where the buzzing's coming from. If I turn the brightness or contrast of it, it's really bad buzzing.
Please remember, lipazine is this after just.
Imagine if I can find a station that doesn't have commercials on it. Jeez.
The fact that you say 3 creams and 4 sugars in your coffee.
I'm going out to the meadow to work on the water supply.
Yeah, so the buzzing's not so bad if there isn't harsh text on the
Why don't you
screen.
set up the Astro Chick shelter? What are you doing? Don't touch that!
I'm sorry, Dad. You still had your neutralizer.
I kept it as a reminder, never touch it again. Reckon I'll get out to the meadow.
Line control's a little funky too, and it's not. It's kind of a weird spot, at about a third in.
Astrochicks, your new home is ready. Time to come out.
Right there where the buzzing goes away. If I put the volume down lower, I get buzzing. But if I go right about here, the buzzing virtually disappears. But if I go louder, the buzzing comes back. So, odd.
Yeah, this looks like a good spot for a water channel. Better take it through the low part of the meadow.
And if I turn the contrast down, the buzzing pretty much goes away. Except at very low volume levels.
There he is. All right, Sandstorm.
Brightness.
I'll show him.
So like I said before, it's with the brightness cranked all the way up, it's not as bright as I would expect a brand new picture tube to be, but on the other hand, it's plenty bright enough. I could still try tweaking the voltage, I think, on G2, because this tube is not quite the same as the original.
There's hardly any wind. That can only mean one thing. Our friend Sandstorm. Let's go, big part.
Now that buzzing may very well go away after I do an alignment on it.
Let's give Sandstorm a taste of his own grit.
And there's still some waviness there, but it's not as bad as it was on that little test CRT.
Surgery using transvaginal mesh.
And when there's actual programming on there, you really don't notice it.
Hey, Wishbone, give me another hardtack there.
Speaker sounds pretty good too, huh?
Yo, where was your own beat?
Where Sally took me.
You mean your horse knew the beat and you didn't?
Now look, don't start up that the horse was smarter than me. Remember, I'm the one who taught her the beat in the first place. And I'm the one who
Sally was a smart horse, but she couldn't write a traffic ticket in a million years.
Look up your old beat in the records.
Quick! That's all the headquarters has to find out. That'll finish me for good. Is that a man has been on a beat for 12 years and doesn't know what happened after he said giddy up.
Well, we know your beat was in Midtown Manhattan. We'll go down to Midtown Manhattan, cruise around until you recognize it.
12 years, and I can't remember.
Ooh, that's kind of nasty. You turn the sun off.
You horse, Eddie?
Yes, sir, Mr. Boyd. Her name is Sally. We bought her from the police. These police horses are very well trained, sir. Very gentle.
Whoa, Tommy!
Hey, Mr. Boyd, you turned the wrong way. Central Park's to the right. Whoa.
Let's see where it's coming from. I think it might be the yoke.
Yo, you mean you still can't recognize anything of your own beat?
We've been looking all over Manhattan. Wait, let's start from the beginning. The first place that Sally and me used to go was the...
While I ponder where that arcing might be coming from, I'm going to continue working on the cabinet. I just wiped down this side with some Howard's Walnut Restore finish, and I think it looks pretty good. I'll then go over it with some wax or oil. And as for the top, right now I'm sanding down my last coat of lacquer sanding sealer. It's almost perfectly smooth. Then I'll mask off the side and spray on some medium brown walnut toner lacquer. I suspect that's going to be a pain because I don't want to get any on this bead, so I'm going to have to mask along here, which isn't too bad, but this curve, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. And once that's masked off, put a couple light coatings of the toner, and then start putting on the finish coats. Shouldn't take too long now that the weather is fairly warm, and I think it's going to stay fairly warm. I hope to get a bunch of refinishing projects done real soon.